All right, y'all, here we are. This is the happy hour at the spiritual neighborhood. And I'm Deborah Colleen Rose, and we got Lulu Morris here today. Matthew's missing. He had a fall today, so everybody send him some energy and some healing. Make sure he's okay. And today, our guest is someone really special. I got to throw this out here real quick, Sharon. So, Sharon and I know each other, but we don't. Sharon had a long term relationship with someone that I considered a spiritual mentor and teacher years ago. She was my husband's spiritual mentor and teacher. So, this is how I know of Sharon, and then I've met her on and off over the years. And so, I have a lot of respect for her, and she's fun and she makes me laugh when I'm around her. But Sharon Varner is a Reiki master. She's an intuitive vibrational sound healer, and she is in charge of the House of Light Priestess. Okay. Her energy work and sound healing create sacred spaces that foster deep emotional healing, clarity, and transformation. With years of experience and mastery of vibrational sounds therapy, she helps individuals and groups release trauma and align their energy. Now, everybody needs that, don't we? So get ready for a great, enlightening conversation with a true healer who connects on a soul level. So, Sharon, thank you for coming to be with us.
Oh, thank you for that introduction. I'm very
Well,
grateful to be here.
so Sharon just got back from a trip from Egypt. So I live through Sharon vicariously because she's always doing something interesting. She's always doing something cool. She has great situations and rituals going and parties going on in her house. She's always going on wonderful trips. And I'm like, dang, if I was single, I could be doing that. So I'm going to let you pick what subject you want to talk about today, though.
I guess almost anything is good. Vibrational sound is always good. We could talk about like soul tribes and people are coming together really strong right now. And that's in February 1st, 2023. I met a group of women in Egypt. We all came from different parts of the world. And we all have traveled together since. Just putting out prayer. We have a lady in our group that actually takes sacred water from one place and weaves it into sacred springs in other areas and does all these sacred prayers. And we have one that weaves dirt from one place into another, and it's just an amazing just man, I feel like I've really been blessed by opportunity in this lifetime to get to go to all the places I've been to and seen all the things I've seen with my own eyes.
So
But
tell us about the soul tribe stuff and what that means with you and how it came about.
it just kind of came about where I had a calling to go to, I got invited to go to Egypt, and it was a goddess retreat. And I really didn't even read the paperwork or anything that was sent to me. And I usually don't read emails, just so you know. But uh, I had a calling to take Mariah's ashes over there to Egypt because she always wanted to go to Egypt. And so I had talked to Sherry, her daughter, and I said, "Yeah, I'm going to sign up and take your mom's ashes over to the temples there where she would want them to be." So I signed up to go, and it was just the most amazing journey. And it was like I met all these women that I've known my whole life from all over the world that just automatically all loved each other immediately with our hearts. We didn't even care anything about the people, what they did, who they were in their other life, just right there in that present moment. It was just like a group of pure love. And then as we traveled together, we actually got to know about each other and our lives, our children and everything. But it was amazing having that many people that just automatically sent pure love with no kind of agenda or intentions other than just to be present in love. And so we began to travel together and just we try to put out vibrational frequencies everywhere we go to encode the earth with a better frequency than it was there before.
Well, I know that because like I said, I live through you vicariously. So I watch a lot of the pictures on social media when you take your trips and stuff, and everybody looks so happy. And you could tell when people are staging their selfies and stuff, and they're great pictures, but there's no light in their eyes. All the women in these pictures, they just look so relaxed and so at home and so conjoined. It's just you can feel the power even through those photographs.
Man, my daughter just told me that yesterday. She said, Mom, when I look at you when you're traveling with this group of women, she said, it's always the happiest and the most joyful. She's like, it's like you when you're playing with the grandkids, but it is. It's just being with people just with pure love in their heart is so healing.
So, are these women, all of them, like healers in some fashion, or are they
No,
housewives
some
traveling?
of them, I think they are all healers of their own fashion, but a lot of them didn't know it until February of 2023. They were just, one was a scientist, one was had been a housewife and was a grandmother now. And so some massage therapists, but man, something big woke up in all of us when we stayed in the same circle to pray together. Just something happened that was very just really like put you on a different timeline.
Okay, so I'm going to say something kind of weird, but work with me here, okay? So they say when we're younger women and we hang out that our menses, line up. I think that
Uh-huh.
happens even when we're older and we don't have our cycles anymore. I just think there's something very base in our physical form that ignites the spiritual form to where we line up. What do you think
Yeah,
about
I do think that. I think when we're in a group of people that have the same frequencies and energy than us, that mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, and even financially, we go into alignment to a higher timeline. And it's been just a blessing for me. I can't even tell you. It's like if even 5 years ago, if someone told me you're just going to be hopping around from country to country, state to state, living your best life, I would have thought I wish. And now
that?
it's right here and it's happening to me every day. And it's just amazing to have that kind of alignment and to have it with a group of people too, where it's just like a lot of love energy that creates a lot of boost in each one of our life.
Do y'all stay in contact in between trips?
We do. We have a little WhatsApp, and if somebody has a grandbaby, somebody's kid gets married, or just we will stay in touch. A lot of us individually stay in touch too, but then we also stay in touch by group through WhatsApp.
So, are you all pagan?
No,
I love that. I
no,
love
we are
that.
not all pagan. We have probably agnostic, we have Catholic, we have a touch of everything you can think of.
I love that.
As far as religions go, we have just a touch of everything, but I can tell you this, they're all goddesses, and
Right.
they all know that in their own religions, the goddess needs to be brought back. So in that sense, I wouldn't call it pagan. I would just call it they have a higher consciousness about what happened to the female energy on Earth at one time
See, I'm working on that from the Christian perspective. So
and
I
how it was
I
just shut
agree.
down.
And
I got an opportunity to spend a weekend with Rabbi Shefa Gold in Colorado once, and she talked about that too, the bringing the goddess back alive in the Jewish tradition, that she felt like she was here. That was part of her part of humanity here, was to bring it back alive. It's amazing the Christian and the Catholic and all these spiritual leaders with all this amazing frequency. They all know they're here to do that. Some of them just aren't talking about it yet, but they know it.
well, we know it. I mean, and
Yeah.
it just makes sense because if you look at all of the writings and you're thinking about the fact that this was a patriarchal society, both the Jewish and the later on the Christian, but yet women made it into those writings. So how
Right.
powerful were they? How powerful and to make it into those writings, and how many
Right.
other women that didn't make it, you
Yeah,
know?
we had the one woman, one or two in the group for sure, that does a lot of Mary Magdalene studies and teaches and things around that too subject. And it's just an amazing when you really know the truth of her and her teachings and who she really was. I mean, she was equal. as
Hmm.
this was. You know, they were equal, a balance of each other. But um, it's amazing when you read out through history how different people perceived her energy and frequency. Just because she was a woman, you know.
Well, and a prostitute as well,
Yeah, yeah,
you
that's
know?
what I mean with the naming and everything like
Yeah.
that. You know, it's like,
Well, I've been listening to a lot of different people about frequencies, and they all say that when a group of people get together and either pray or meditate on and are trying to get to the same frequency, they can really influence what's around them.
oh, it's true. I mean, we all, most of us that come there, we pretty much try to stay in alignment. I mean, I do a lot of vibrational sound on people's bodies and stuff by putting certain frequencies of bowls on the bodies to try to shift the energy and to move energy where they can rise up, you know. And so when you go in there already with people that are working on their frequency to keep it in a line daily, and then you just add all that love to it, it's just like this huge shift in frequencies. Because I mean, it shifts faster than when I went to an all-night gong bath once where we played the gongs all night long, and how the energy started here, but by morning it was like, whoa, up here. And it's like that, and it stays that way the whole time. Because even when we're sleeping, we're in this love energy. It's just all, you know,
Mhm.
everyone's working together to, and it's just kind of amazing to when you have that kind of love that's has nothing to do with but frequent it's a frequency of manifestation really, and it just lifts you up, and you have it while you're sleeping, you have it all day long. And so when we're there, if we have any kind of, like when I got to the White Desert, our Land Cruiser just happened to be the one that broke down. But like I didn't get worried or anything, because in no time at all, I was like, okay, we just need somebody to be able to fix it. We all visualized that, and we were running in like no time. We didn't even have to get help from like the city or anything. The guys just figured it out. And so it's amazing too how quickly problems get solved
Hmm.
in that kind of group frequency. And it really is a frequency. It's why we go in with an open heart and a really like a love frequency, you know, but you can create it. I mean, I'm not a big sound bath person, but I do know that they help a lot of people relax and everything. But when you take the frequencies of those bowls and put it on top of your body, the bowl frequency starts vibrating through you like this. And then you can add water into the bowl, like a little bit of water or this much
Oh.
water, and it changes the frequency that's going down into your body.
Well,
So you can shift it up, and you can put the frequencies. I put a bowl in my bath a lot and just tap on it and let the frequencies go down into the water. So I'm sitting in these higher frequencies along with
No
like,
idea.
yeah, I mean, I use them in all different kinds of ways. So it's like you can do free. I do frequent. I have some friends that come over to my house when they say they need a lot of shit just removed from them. So they just want to come take a frequency bath, and I put these crystals and everything and these salts in the water, and then I'll give them like a, you know, different high frequency bowls, and we'll put the frequency into the water, and then they just go and lay in it, and it's just amazing because it's up close and personal with you.
See, I feel like my personal life is shifting in the sound direction, and here's two reasons why. I agree with you. I've had a experience with a lot of sound baths and went, okay, that was nice. and,
Yeah,
and
it's nice.
and then Luann and I and another friend of ours, we went to a sound bath here recently, and I felt a huge shift. It was subtle, but it was huge. And
Hmm.
I'm like, okay, I've never had that experience before. I'm going to do this again. About a year and a half ago, I won't get into all of the details, but I had a spiritual situation where I had this deep guttural coming out of my lungs. I can't even imitate it now. It was so genuine. and so real. It just came out of my lungs. And it was like for 6 hours. I mean, and
Oh,
it vibrated my whole body. And we went to see this movie. This is so stupid how things connect in my life. We went to see this movie Saturday night, and it was about the blues, the old blues. And I realized, because I'm kind of humming with the music, that a lot of the bass notes in the blues is that same guttural vibration that I had in my lungs for 6 hours. And I'm like, okay, there's a connection here that I need to explore. And so I'm
yeah.
not sure how to explore that, but I'm interested.
But
So,
yeah, maybe you should check into some vocal toning, because vocal toning, you can get really far with vocal toning and stuff, just like you're using, and then add a bowl. If you need help, if you come over too, you can take some of my bowls home and see what you like and everything. And because I have a lot of equipment, so,
she does.
but
Her house is so full of things.
uh, but if you do that and you get a frequency, say a or a B, or like I have some 900 frequencies, and then you start toning with it, maybe you're doing that deep, I call it dark vocal toning, is so healing, and it's so hard for people to reach too.
Oh, it is. It was so healing. And I'm telling you, I've never experienced anything like that in my life. It changed my life. It changed my it changed my whole attitude. It did. And it's lasted now for 2 years.
I
Tell me
met a,
about vocal toning. What is that exactly?
well, I met a sound healer on this last trip to Egypt named Tegan Northwood from Australia. And she is actually a sound healer through toning. She doesn't really use equipment. She only uses her voice. It's just
Wow.
amazing. And
Hmm.
if you could look her up on YouTube and see some of her stuff, but it's just amazing. She just uses her voice to get to all these different frequencies. So the energy's changing. So then if you think about someone doing that, then you're adding in frequencies from gongs or bowls and your own energy or crystal grid. All these frequencies just begin to lift each other. The more the frequent one starts lifting, the more they all begin to lift, because higher frequencies lift faster than, when you start getting into really high frequencies.
Well, it just that whole thing just resonates with me, and it's like I almost feel like I get an answer and then it eludes me. So I know
Yeah.
there's something I need to research or check in on.
Yeah,
I'm just,
vocal toning it's pretty magical, because when you think about it, even if you go on, you're toning inside of your body. I
Hmm.
mean, we hear it on the outside, but you're toning inside when you're doing that kind of work. So it's taking the vibration and you're really taking it down in your body. So then your next step is to consciously do it.
yeah, I can't
Okay.
reproduce it. That's what frustrates me.
Well, I know, but all you have to do is just do a humming or an ohm to start opening that channel back up again. But do it consciously, like, okay, I'm taking the ohm here into my heart. I'm leaving it in my heart. Okay, I'm feeling a little sluggish. I want to put this ohm all in my liver and just ohm out all the sluggishness. And but really do your whole body with it. And it just like it's a bowl or anything like that. So you just kind of, but you're doing it internally with your own.
That makes sense because when I was doing that, I literally could see my lungs. I could see all the little cavities in my lungs, and I could see as well as feel all the vibration going through my lungs,
Right.
you know? And it was an incredible experience. If okay, I'll tell you, I did a little something with it to
Okay.
get there. I've never done drugs in my life. If I knew I could have that experience again, I would do that again, but I'm a little scared.
Was it earth medicine, like earth medicines,
No,
or
no, no.
well, I mean, I've done a lot of different types of earth medicines, and well, I've really ceremonies, uh, and there's so many now that are, or the earth stuff. There's so many shamans now that it's legal for them to, as long as you're with a shaman, to do a lot of different things that we can't. In Texas has a little more laws, but like there's just so many good shamans in the United States now to help people with different kinds of ayahuasca or ceremonies that are legal when you use a shaman that's been that has a license here, like a church.
Right. Our other person that's on our podcast is not with us today because she just had a new grandbaby. She's done ayahuasca. And she's one of the few people that I've ever heard that had an experience and didn't throw up. And she said that she was terrified because she didn't want to throw up. So she was so happy that she didn't. But she still had an incredible experience without throwing up. So,
I would imagine it was much more incredible not throwing up because I threw up for hours in dry heat for a
oh
couple
no, I
hours.
couldn't do that. Oh no. So,
Oh, there's a lot of things you can do though that you don't have to do that ceremony to reach to tap into that part of your brain. And to be honest with you, it's like you can lead somebody into breath work that deep. You don't need anything outside of you other than your breath to go in there with in alignment and just do breath work until you reach that part of your brain,
so what
because
is
you're
your
constantly,
favorite
all
way
you're
of
doing is,
achieving that?
well,
Just,
you just focus on your breath. I mean, I've sat there going to breath work 3 or 4 days in a breath work ceremony weekend, and so there's at some point, I mean, you're just focusing on your breath, your whole body shifts into, and you might hear that growl like you were talking about. What I call that is a growl. Like I heard my growl today, we just rah, but it's just a growl that's from inside of us that is aligning us, even though it may sound a certain way, it's aligning something within us. So I go to Granbury, Open Heart Sanctuary with Summer Dawn, and she does a lot of breath work there too. And then I do it with Liz Burkholder out of North Carolina. But I mean, breath work is the number one thing I would say that can get people to another level, just all by themselves, just them and their breath, but and vibrational sounds. And I also do a lot of I'm certified to do hypnotherapy, so I use a combination of the three,
ah,
and doing that because all three of them shift your consciousness. And so when I use all three together, a lot of time a person will just have a big lift. They don't even need a lot more sessions because I can come in and when they get that, I can tell them usually what age they have trauma, the exercises to do to heal it themselves, and really just tell them how to. Well, I see, so I turn it all over to them, and they can just go do self work and take care of it.
I think that's a perfect way of doing that. I really
Yeah.
do. To help, because if they're not willing to help heal themselves, no matter what you do, it's not going to
Oh
last.
yeah, like I don't. I mean, I'm just I've had a lot of trauma in my life, and there's women that I know of, if they want to talk about their trauma and go through the process of it all, that I have a list of 100 great hypnotherapists,
Right.
uh, and Liz Burkhardt being one of the best that I've really worked with, that I do sessions with. She takes me down, but I can tell you, well, Patricia too, uh, Walls, dancing elk that we talked about earlier with the light language before we came on. She also does hypnotherapy, and within minutes, she can have you into another life. I mean, not even seconds almost. She'll just look at you and tell you what year. But I think really it's a self work. You got to do it, whether you're paying someone else to sit and listen to you go through it or you're doing it yourself. Like for me, I like to just try to go in and tell you what I see at a certain age and where you need to add a lot of love in those years, and reflection to help you shift that energy from that time. Because when you go back and shift the energy from that time, it heals it, and all that's healed like a layer. And then you go up to another layer where you may find it. And so I mean it is all layers, but honestly, once you understand where you're having a lot of the what I call is like a leak in your energy field. We all have trauma because trauma stores in our body, it stores in
Right.
our cells, it stores everywhere. But when we begin to release it, man, it's just like you really start to understand yourself better
Hmm.
and give yourself a lot of grace. And and just really heal deep things about yourself that you may have always wondered why or felt different. And it's just amazing to be able to go that far inward inside yourself that you can take energy here and put it back here, and it heals everything here, if that makes sense.
Makes total sense. Complete
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so that's really what I try to, I feel like when maybe my specialty is in hypnotherapy and like for other people like got to go, they're good at taking you through all the emotions, but I'm good at like telling you what age that you need to go back and put a lot of energy from here into here to make it all right up here.
I may have to come let you do that then, because it's really interesting. Because I've had to deal with a lot of mental health professionals because of my family history with my children and things over the years. And then, of course, I've been an advocate in that field for a long time. So I have had a lot of professionals say, "Oh, we can tell you that you were traumatized as a child." Well, I don't remember being traumatized as a child. I was pretty content with my childhood until I was 11, but they all insist I have the symptoms. And
Well, the thing about that is, let me just say this, I'm not trying to interrupt you, is
no, go
that
ahead.
you probably don't remember.
Yeah.
Like my daughter was in the hospital her free 3 months of birth. She doesn't remember any of that, but it causes trauma with the infant to be taken away, everything like that. I mean, even like broken bones or anything like that, you may not remember the tore muscle, how much trauma is caused by hospitals and fear and doctor things that we don't understand at the time that it's and you think about it, what if you were scared to death to go to the doctor or dentist or something, and you every year it just got a little bigger and bigger and bigger, because we don't understand how we store things, even though that's a little example
No,
of
it makes sense. And
you
that's
know
my whole point, is that what has come to light now in my older years is that the person that this focus was on, come to find out they did cause trauma for other people. I don't have any memory of it. And I feel like I've dealt with it and coped with it and that I've healed it. But it would be interesting to see your process, to see what comes up,
Mhm.
because I'm going to assume, and tell me if I'm wrong, that if you can see the trauma, you can also see if it's been healed or not.
Well, I'm not going to see all your trauma because I'm not looking for all your trauma. What I'm going to see is probably a 7-year-old girl sitting there hiding from something that she is scared to death of, and something like that. I'm going to tell you as much as I can about it,
Hmm.
and then from there, I'm going to tell you, uh, to build yourself a little altar for that child and daily do where you're sending her a lot of love, you're reparenting her there because she's got a tremendous amount of fear in that age that you probably don't remember, but it's there. But as you start healing it and everything and re-embracing her, you will begin to understand and be able to open up to the memories more too, because you're going to help her by letting her know that you're reparenting her, you're going back there, you're putting all this energy, and nothing's ever going to hurt her again because you're putting the energy there yourself with consciousness from the future back to here because it's all the same. So
Right, right.
she's still traumatized there, even though you might be living good here. So once you take this energy here consciously and put it back here and fix this, then this up here becomes different.
That's cool. And that makes total sense. It makes me think of the little thing on Facebook I saw the other day, says, congratulate yourself because you become the adult that you needed to protect you as a child, you know?
Exactly. I mean,
And
it's true. And, I have people say, well, I had the best parents and this, and this. You probably did. It's not, we're no one's like, I always tell people hypnotherapy is not about attacking your parents. It's one thing, but I said, but I put my kids in it because I can also recognize that I had so much trauma. I didn't let them like I guarded them so much
mhm,
in the ways that was all a trauma response. I didn't want them to stay the night anywhere just because I hovered them, which is
right.
also not necessarily healthy for them either. But when I realized how unconscious I raised my children. I was like, I told both of them, go get in hypnotherapy, I'll pay for it, because there's just so much, even if you're the healthiest person you can think of, there's hypnotherapy is about going inward and touching something inside of yourself deeply to
Mhm.
connect with it. So, I mean, who doesn't need that if you think about it?
Well, let me tell you something. I paid for my kids to go through lots of therapy because they had very difficult childhoods because of a lot of reasons. And while the counselors all said it wasn't my fault, my children still think it's my fault. So not everything gets fixed.
Yeah, that's what I like about hypnotherapy though, because it puts you inward within yourself where
Yes,
you learn you actually learn that, well, if they're still saying that now, they probably still haven't forgiven whatever in their conscious mind that they think you've done to them. But it's so funny. But once they go back through their own time into those moments and put energy there, it will help raise them out of the victim mode.
that's
Because it seems like they're stuck in a victim loop, okay?
yes.
And they don't understand when I tell people right off the bat, I was like, listen, you know, you can't heal a victim mode because the victim don't want to be healed. But
Right.
if you can listen to me and understand how to put this energy into yourself without being a victim and heal all of this, you really will. It's like Patricia always says, release and flow, relax and let go, and just move on because I mean, you think about if people put as much energy into vibrational frequencies and changing themselves as they do into being a victim, the whole world would change.
I agree. I agree 100%. And and I tell my daughter, and you have to understand, my daughter does have a mental health diagnosis. She's on disability. So, you have to approach it from the perspective that I'm going to meet her in her reality, not drag her into
Right.
mine. And
But
so, go ahead.
no, but maybe like when she's doing that, the one thing I do, like I would kind of look away and look back and ask her how old she feels. So maybe she's going to say 7 or 11, and then try to meet her at that age and realize that there's some fear there. She's not acting as a grown up because something has put her into a frequency of a different age when we're
Mhm.
acting. Does that make sense? And
Yeah.
Absolutely.
ask her, and sometimes they'll tell you, they'll just tell you like, oh, 7 or 11, and just try to meet them at that age because uh, there's something happening in their mind too when they get triggered like that. That's happened way back here, and so they're no longer respond as a grown up at all.
Well, I just tell her, I said,
Ye-
I don't know what it is that you need. And that's because I'm just ignorant of your internal dialogue. I said, if you'll tell me what you need, I'll give it to you because that's how much I love you. And she just can never seem to answer that. And so I'm like, I'm here and I will do whatever you ask me to do within my power. And I have a lot
Yeah.
of power, so take it. So,
Yeah, you should
and
do that hypnotherapy course that I did with Liz out of North Carolina. You would be so good at that.
well, I am
And
certified in hypnotherapy.
this is like for inner child. It's really, I mean, I have
Okay.
done hypnotherapy before, like I take a class with her before, but when I went in this time, like for myself in my mind, it was the to help. The most I feel like we can help is making people understand is taking this love from here and putting it back here and removing all this fear and all these abandonment programs and
Mhm.
changing all this is what really changes us here.
What's
And
her
you can
name again?
Liz Burkholder, I can send it to you in Messenger too.
Okay, babe,
Uh,
do that.
but people, once you understand that, it's really, and you're going inward to fix that part of yourself. There's so much of your own life you can just fix from sitting in a chair
I
and
love that.
focusing on yourself. And, yeah, I mean, I just try to, because each one of us are our own healer. Sometimes we do need help. Like sometimes I know I have to go in and get Thai massages, and I need to go in and get uh, with Patricia, I do a lot of work with Patricia where she helps me clear out things too. And so we all need a boost, or we all need a little bit of help, but it also is turning the power over back to the people to heal themselves, to move themselves up, to manifest their life that they want to live, because we're all the abundance of our own life. And once we start living that and breathing it into our energy fields and our frequencies daily and consciously, understanding that we are all the abundance of our own life, and we have to figure out how to live in that flow of what that means to each one of us. Because what it means to me is to just be a free being, being able to live free, travel, and touch things with my own hands and see things with my own eyes all around the world,
Yeah.
and to try to change frequencies everywhere I go and leave the frequencies better than I found them.
Well, and this is one of my big things that I say to people across the board, regardless of their belief system, is everything was made for a reason. Everything has a frequency, everything has an energy field. There's a reason for
Right.
that. And it's our job to figure out what it is so that we can best use it in our lives,
Right.
Instead of running
Right.
from things saying, oh, you can't have that and you can't touch that and you can't have that in your life. Find out what it does so you can figure out if it fits in your life, not about what you can't have. I hate that
Right.
can't. Don't tell me can't. I'm going to figure out
You
something.
know, right. And I've had, a situation where in the last year where I like parted way with a friend. And one thing my daughter said to me was, Mom, you don't have that stress frequency anymore every time their name comes up. I was like, what? So your kids, I felt proud, like she's actually using a word, that I have used before talking about frequencies, because usually a lot of times my kids, uh, I mean, they were just raised in it. So they're so used to the gongs and the everything. A lot of the things they're used to. So they just don't even want it around them. Does that make sense? It's
Yes,
like
that does. It does.
books, or but the grandkids do. But it's just like when we notice that, like if Scott ever had a friend before that he's that stressed them out all the time, but you probably didn't notice it until he was completely away from them and free and just living.
Now, Scott doesn't get stressed by people. Now, me, I get stressed.
Well, yeah, okay. So you see, and then somebody's removed, and then you start feeling. So you have to pay attention to like I always like who strengthens my frequencies, who drains them, how I feel. And this is the way I do it. And a lot of my friends laugh at me because I say this a lot, but I learned it from one of a teacher that I did Mastering Your Mind with. But it's mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, and financially, do I feel better when I'm around this person?
Mm.
And you can think, and they'll say, well, how can you financially feel better around a child? Well, I do. When I'm around my grandkids, I feel like a king and a queen that's there to give them the world, and how much fun it's from your heart. It's not about what people think the frequency is. The
Or that
frequency.
they're going to try and take it away from you if you turn your back on them.
Yeah, and it's just about, so our frequencies in all those areas, are they better when we're dealing with these people? Or
Yeah,
does it make
that
you
makes so much
happier?
sense. So much sense. All right, so we have people of all different levels of knowledge watch this, or I like to tell myself we do. So you are a priestess. Can you explain the difference to the world, the difference between a priestess and a shaman?
Uh, well, I can't. I mean, I can tell you what I think, but everybody is, I mean, and that's just all labels too. The priestess has just come from a line of training that I did through, House of Light and Makaru, and on the priestess path to Egyptian priestess, and to
Hmm.
study that path. And so I think a priestess a lot of times is a path that we choose to study and learn, and we actually begin to embody it. You know this when it happens to you naturally, like the kid in the room without a parent left on earth. You're just naturally drawn to them.
Hmm.
Does this? It's like these. It's almost like where you go to these little extra places to give love. This person needs motherly love, and you know it because you're feeling it. It's like a thing that happens a lot of times happens, maiden mother crone or priestess. And I think a shaman for me is it's a channeled energy that comes into you that works with me. Like these shamans come in, like the Hathors and a lot of Native Americans, and they work with me. They guide me, like when I'm working with people, even in vibrational sound. They may say, I have one of them that will just make havoc on the gongs. It doesn't sound pretty, but it moves energy like a motherfucker, just
Yeah.
boom. Yes, and it does it quickly. So sometimes it's like, why go through every one of these frequencies and notes when you can just do this few screeching and this, and they're boomed out of there because it blasts the energy from around them.
Yeah, that's
So
energy I want. I want that
yeah,
energy.
and
Yeah.
so a lot of people just that's what they want. I have a lady like she's like, just give it to me, and I'll use even my 6 foot gong a lot of times, but usually I use it for like quail frequencies and things like that because it's I mean, gongs you can do amazing frequencies with. You can talk to whales, you can talk to the light beings because the frequencies travel so far. Even you can't see them or hear them, but they're still traveling. So when you do that inside your house, like I go up to like my friend's house, set up the gongs and do sound healing in the house, but it's for the house. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
So I go in and I do this whole sound healing, but it's for the house to clear out all the old frequencies to start over. Boom, let's start over with some great feelings and everything. And so they do that for their house. And I think it's just amazing because
It's
it
just a
feels
form of house
wonderful in
blessing.
there afterwards.
It's just a house blessing. It's just a different form
Yeah,
of house blessing.
yeah.
It makes total sense. Yeah, I get it. I just, I am so sensitive to sounds. Like there's just certain music I cannot listen to. There's certain sounds I cannot abide by. And then there's other things I just melt. But when I melt, I always get visions. And I thought everybody did that. So the first time I spoke about it with a group of people and when I was in my teens, they're all like, "You're crazy." I was like, okay. So I shut up about it for a long, long time. you know? But I don't know, there's so much power in the right sounds. So much power.
Yeah, there is. It is. And when you have two or three people channeling the sound that they're using, they're already channeling from a higher frequency. And then you really begin to start like with tuning. I mean, I use everything, tuning forks, drums, stones, crystals, minerals, anything, really that comes to me that I know and I'm really like, I like instant gratification a lot,
Me
just to be
too.
honest. And so, like, I was standing in front of that gong and just bang it if I know it's just going to shift me. Does that make sense? It doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
And uh, and so I usually try to cut to the quickest tool, even if they don't think it's like I have people that don't like the ocean drums. I was like, yeah, I know you don't. There's a reason. So I just slammed down. But do you want to do this? Do you want to go through 8 1 hour sessions or do you want to do it maybe in 90 minutes? If that
Yeah.
makes sense. And I try to get it and then tell them how to do some things afterwards to keep it, at a flow. But I mean, I think sometimes you know, I think I like the short. I'll take a shortcut. I'll cut through over a path to get out of traffic, to get somewhere. So,
Yeah.
but
I'm with you.
it's such a conscious thing because you're learning that once you understand the energy and the frequency and where to put it, then you understand that you don't have to do it for 8. It may take 8 hours, but you're doing it to yourself at home, just if that makes sense.
No, it does make sense because from my perspective, I go back to, and I'm not going to start preaching. I'm just using this as an example that when Jesus had Lazarus raised from the dead, he didn't sit out there for 5 days. It was automatic. Come out of there. we're done. Come
Yeah,
on out, you know? So
right,
it's meant to be quick. It doesn't have to be long and drawn out. So
right.
that's why I'm not really, was never good as a pagan when I was younger, because I don't do rituals. You know, I don't.
Oh man, when I went to India and I went to like during the 14 days of the goddess, and I went to some of the Hindu rituals, like I'm used to pagan, all different kinds. I've been to voodoo, hoodoo, pagan, I mean, all different kinds. I love seeing different cultures and experiencing different cultures, and I got to go to some Hindu ones in their home, which lasted, a couple hours. But when you went to the temple to the Hindu one, like 4 hours into it, my head's like this. I was like, how long did they chant? When is this over, man? I was like, yeah, it's tough too when like I went one day and I didn't understand. It was like a 12-hour
Oh
ceremony.
no, no,
Like,
no,
oh
no, no, no,
man.
no,
Oh, my
no.
stars.
No, 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 no. I
I was
can't
like,
do
I'm
that.
not strong enough for these ceremonies,
I gotta eat. No, I gotta go
Yeah.
to the bathroom. No, no. Oh, I don't know. I love exploring energy. Energy to me is just so fascinating. But
Oh, it is.
Louie and I were laughing at our sound after our sound bath the other night, because the people that were doing that says, now we may come around in your area and you hear us making extra noises because we're clearing the energy. Well, he spent a lot of time in our corner, and I was like, damn, how dirty were we with our energy?
You don't see it that way. Maybe y'all's energy was lighter, so a lot of energy tried to attract on there to one corner, and they cleared it out from there.
Oh, well, good, because I was like, damn, they may not let us come back.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. I mean, I like sometimes to relax. If I'm with people and they want to do some of my friends like to do private sound baths for just a small group of friends. And that's fun to do too, when you just have like 5 people or something where everyone can really take in a lot of frequencies in.
Oh, I would love to do that. We'll have to do that sometime.
Yeah, I think you would really like it. It's really it's weird too, and people will say, but it can't be true. Well, when you're using a lot of instruments, you're putting out way, way more. But when you have 5 people and you're putting out that much frequencies, or 6 or 7 in a room, it's really heightening and lifting so much faster and higher than if you've got 45 or 50 in a room. And
Right.
there's plenty of frequencies. And they'll say, oh, there's plenty of frequencies. There is, but you've always got 5 or 6 energy frequency people in there that's taking in a lot of the frequencies, or you know what I mean? And so to me, it's just more intimate anyway, doing it in really smaller groups. That's what I try to focus on, where then if
Well,
you do see energy in somebody that needs moving, you have time to really stop and help, maybe help them a little bit too.
well, this is a testimony to your energy and your home, because the few times I've been there, I'm just, because I don't do big crowds, and people love coming to your house, and there's always a lot more people there than you would think. And so,
Yeah.
I plant my ass on the couch or someplace so I'm not moving.
Yeah.
That way I can kind of control my environment a little bit. But I get so relaxed that the last time I was there, someone kept talking to me, and I just started to say, can you just shut the fuck up? I just need to be right now, because the energy is just so smooth, and you just want to ride the wave.
Yeah, I mean, I do frequencies every day for my house, just like I do myself, just because, especially before a big gathering or a party, I always tell myself that I'm getting ready to honor all the gods and goddesses that are coming to my house. So I try to get all the frequencies and everything. So in honor of the guests, it's like a Hathor frequency thing. We'll put out as much frequencies and areas and everything as we can to honor our guests before they arrive.
Well, it is very peaceful, and I don't get peaceful in very many locations that I'm not in
Well,
control of,
thank you. I'm
you know.
grateful for that.
And
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because I'm hypersensitive, or I'm just a control freak, or I'm out of control. I don't know what the reason is.
Maybe both even.
You what?
I said maybe even both.
Yeah. all of the above.
But you can clear that, you can, I'm very sensitive to energy. So that's one reason, Nature told somebody one time, don't be thinking my mom's not saging after you leave the house too. But, you know, it's like I do like with frequencies or anything, and it's not that it's like a lot of people leave amazing energy and love and frequencies. So even then I take all that amazing love and frequencies a lot of times and add a lot to it so it lives higher. It's an uplifting of frequencies when you do it as a routine, like part of your daily life.
Hmm.
It just changes you, it changes everything in your
Well,
life.
it changes your whole focus. And if that's what
Right,
you're focused on, that's what you're going to bring into your life.
right,
It's the same thing as saying affirmations. If you go around grunting and groaning and talk about how miserable you are, as opposed to living in gratitude,
right.
they all go hand in hand. So to me,
Yes,
this is not even a religious thing or even a spiritual thing. It's a physical thing. This
right,
is this is our physical beings affected by things that we can't see, just like we can't see the air, but we're
right.
affected by it when it's dirty. It's the same principle,
Right.
you know. So I could talk to you forever and ever and ever. So you've got to come back, and
Okay,
we'll be putting this up on all those channels I told you about and everything. I want to come do a sound bath though, so we'll have Luann and you talk about how we can maybe do that for our group. I think we'd all love it. So
okay. That sounds good.
yeah, I'd love to do that. So do you want to promote a website or a business or anything while you
Uh, I do have a website. It's newadama.com.
spell that,
And
babe? Spell it.
new, just like NEW, like New Earth, but it's New Adama, Adama.
Okay.
And that really is just Earth in Hebrew. So
And you
uh,
take clients for hypnotherapy?
I do take clients for hypnotherapy, and I do take clients for vibrational sound. I don't have a schedule because
You're too
as
busy
much as I
tapping.
travel, and then I donate a lot of my time to my grandkids because that's what I want to do. And so really I take new clients only if they know somebody that knows me or something, because that way it's just easier for me and them, because I just don't like somebody that just finds me on the website usually maybe not be the best fit for me. I don't know how to explain that.
No, I do. I get it.
So
I
I just
do.
know that that's just the way I use to bring in new clients is referrals. Because I mean, to be honest with you, I stay pretty booked up when I'm in town
I
as
can
much as
imagine
I
so.
want, to be. And so, like, if you tell me I know this person or this person, then I know for sure that it's somebody that knows me thinks I might be able to help.
Right, right.
Because they know and understand the kind of work I do, if that makes sense. So we cut through a lot of what people just don't even know what hypnotherapy is or vibrational sound, and they schedule appointments. And I just really take referrals from people.
Well, it's the same
Clients.
thing. We do a lot of different little things in our group, and one of the things that
Yeah.
we do is ghost investigations because
Oh
people.
yeah, yeah. That's y'all sound so fun. I was like, I bet that's really fun.
Oh, it is fun.
I always thought I'd do good at like investigations and work like that because my mind works in patterns, if that
Well, you'll
makes.
have to come with us in October. We're doing an investigation at Old City Park.
Oh, okay, because my mind works in patterns. That's why I'm so good at vibrational sound and seeing energy, because it starts forming patterns. And so from
Yes.
there, it's easy to spot energy spots or where things need moved or shift.
Yeah, that makes total sense. But one of the things that we do, the reason I brought it up, is that we send out a little questionnaire to people that they have to fill out because we do the investigations for free. Okay.
Yeah,
And but if we're not going to go out there unless you fill out the questionnaire and we can review it and we discuss it as a team to see if we want to take it on. And 9 times out of 10, people say, "Oh, I can't be bothered." Well, we can't be bothered to come out.
right, right.
If you can't answer a few questions, we're not packing up and traveling halfway to BFE.
Well, yeah, you understand because you need them to understand what you're actually doing when you get there, and like, yeah. So that's why, when you know all about referred clients because they know what you do kind of because somebody's told them.
Right. And,
Mhm.
and you know, have no idea what to expect and all that.
Right.
Well, listen, I really appreciate you coming on. And like I said, I lived through you vicariously with all your traveling, and
Oh,
it's made
thank
me
you.
bolder with my traveling because I'm kind of a prima donna. I don't like to be uncomfortable or dirty or hot.
Well, I read your posts to help me with stress sometimes, so I understand.
Oh,
Because
thank
they're
you.
either gonna make me think or they're gonna make me laugh. And either way, it's good.
Well, I just tell you everything I tell everybody else. Just because I post it doesn't mean I think it, especially when
Oh,
it
I
comes to
know, but
politics.
they either make me think or laugh,
That's what I want. I want, and more often, I want you to laugh and see how silly everybody is. Because I think,
Yeah,
you know what we should do,
it,
Sharon? Okay, now this is for real. Okay, I'm excited. We should get your group together and have each one in your group bring 3 people, and then we go to the White House and surround it.
And send positive vibrations.
Yes,
yeah,
yes. I mean, what could it hurt?
yeah,
We don't really have to go to the White House to do that.
But I
yeah,
want to.
yeah. Let me just say the White House needs a lot of gonging.
Yes, it does. Oh, and we could bang that gong.
Yeah, we need to take we need the big gongs to come in.
Well, something to think about. Maybe we could get together and do it here and just send it on send it
Yeah.
north. But because I'm sick of this crap personally. But anyway, I'm not going to go off on that. All right, so we're sponsored by Miles of Smiles Entertainment, and I appreciate you coming to see us today. And we'll
Thank
have
you
you
very
back because
much.
we're going to
I'm
do some more
very
stuff.
grateful for both of you. Thank you.
Well, here's
Thank
what
you
I
for
want to
coming,
do.
Sharon.
I don't know how we'll facilitate, but I want to do a sound bath for the group, and I want to videotape it and put it on our channel. So,
Okay.
okay.
All right. That sounds good.
All right, Lou will be in touch with you and we'll make that happen.
All right,
Okay.
great.
All right. Good
All right,
night.
thanks, y'all.
Bye now.
Bye bye.